Okay, let's get into Married at First Sight, Season 20, Episode 16. We're going to be talking about Shawn and Nikki. Now, the episode started off with Shawn and Nikki in the car leaving the group dinner, talking about how Shawn and Adam's discussion kind of, got out of hand. Now, Nikki started off by saying, "Oh my God, you were so inflammatory tonight." Now, out of all words to say, why did she use the word inflammatory? It's like, Nikki, please come back down to earth, baby, because you going all off the charts trying to prove, I guess, that you're intelligent, and these words that you be using just so don't go with the discussion. But I guess I get what she was saying. She was saying that, Shawn flamed Adam, which he did. And then Shawn was like, "Yeah, I flamed them all right, because you just can't go through life saying the word vibe. Like, you got to be deeper than that. And I know that you have more emotions than vibing when it comes to describing Marissa." And he was right. And I really did appreciate the way Shawn came at Adam, because it did bring out a side of Adam that made him a little less superficial, and he got a little deep with it, even though we still didn't learn much about him. But we did learn that he know how to puff up his chest and become a man, and that's really what we want to see with Adam. If he can't show no other side, at least we got that side. Thank you, Shawn. Well, then the next scene we see with Shawn and Nikki. Nikki was just speaking by herself to the cameras, and she was saying that Shawn was very inflammatory to her as well. And I was like, "Girl, what? What did he do to you, girl, to get you all inflamed in your tenders and your cartilage? What did he do?" And then so she was saying that, when they was having a one-on-one conversation, that he just came out the blue, baby, out of nowhere, and just told her that he was like, "Well, you may be a 10 in Seattle, but in New York, baby, you'll be a 7 all day." And we was like, "What? Nikki, I know he didn't say that to you." Nikki didn't give no backstory, no nothing. She just acted like this man just came out of nowhere and just said this inflammatory statement to her, with no cause. But then Shawn came and told his side of the story, and he was like, "Yeah, I did say that to you, but do you remember what you said to me?" And she was like, "No, what did I say?" And then so he was like, "Well, yeah, remember we was in the pool or the jacuzzi, somewhere they was at, and his stomach was out, baby. It was out and hanging, baby. It was hanging low." And so he said that she grabbed his stomach and said something, I guess, inflammatory about his stomach, and he didn't like it. Well, Miss Nikki definitely left that part out, because she was just acting like Shawn was just being inflammatory to her and not to, for no reason. And kind of find out she was being inflammatory to him as well. And inflammatory is Nikki's words, baby. So he was like, "Well, I'm sensitive about certain things. So when you said something about my stomach, then yeah, I went straight for the jugular, baby." He said something about her. And so that's when he gave the comment that, yeah, you may be a 10 in Seattle, but you're a 7 in New York all day, every day. Which makes sense, because you can tell that Shawn is sensitive about that stomach, baby. Even though he ain't doing no push-ups, no sit-ups, baby. He ain't doing no cardio. But the point is, he said that, you should look past this gut and look inside his mind, baby. Look deep within. It's like, well, sir, you're not looking deep within. All you very surface level. All you want to do is get in between the sheets and 69, 59, 39 this lady all day, every day. Mutual masturbate with this lady. This lady don't want to do that. This lady just want to have a mutual debation. She want to debate you, baby. She don't want to have no masturbation with you. But, Shawn don't understand that. But either way, the next scene, we see them in the kitchen cooking, baby, while Nikki trying to cook it up. She got all the proper ingredients, baby, trying to make just one solid mac and cheese. Now, when you make that special type of macaroni and cheese where it goes in the oven, it does take a lot of ingredients, a lot of cheeses. You got to have your milks, your butters, and different stuff like that. But Nikki mama told her, "Baby, do you got the flour?" I'm like, "Flour? When did flour go in mac and cheese, baby? I ain't never did it, but, listen, hey, whatever." And she said cream cheese as well. So she said she's like, "When do I put the cream cheese in?" She's like, "Oh, well, the macaroni and cheese got to be hot." And you can tell by Nikki macaroni and cheese that it was not hot at all. So it's like, "Nikki, girl, what are you over there mixing?" So even with all the ingredients, baby, Nikki got, baby, she got all the top of the line cheeses and everything. Baby, when she showed that mac and cheese, it was just so dry at the beginning. And then she got on the phone with her mama to see what she was doing wrong. And the mama told me I put flour in. And I'm like, baby, I don't think Nikki or her mama know how to make mac and cheese. But either way, go off. So then Shawn walks into the room while Nikki was on the phone with her mama trying to perfect the mac and cheese. And so she was like, "Oh, mom," just in time, Shawn just walked in the room. She's like, "Oh, tell him." I said, "Hey." You're like, "Well, you can tell him, hey yourself." He just walked in. And so they got on the phone, and then and the mom like, "Are you taking care of my daughter?" He's like, "Well, yeah, I'm taking care of her the best of my ability. I'm making sure that I'm opening doors for her. I'm getting her coffee. I'm making sure she got my credit card for food and everything. So yeah, I'm taking good care of her." And mama was like, okay. But mama really said, like, "What you mean? Yeah, that's all good and dandy, but baby, are you over there emotionally taking care of my daughter? Are you physically taking care of my daughter, baby? Are you being nice to my daughter, baby?" But mama didn't say all that, but she should have, because if she was asked all that, then we would got the true answers. But either way it go, most of their disputes we don't see on camera. They be putting on for the cameras. I don't know why. I guess they're keeping it professional. But what we see is not always what we get with these two. So the conversation with mom and Shawn was very light, not too deep. They didn't get too deep into it because Shawn really want to talk to mama by himself with Nikki not around so he can get the low down on Nikki. He want mama to tell him how crazy her daughter is so that he can figure Nikki out. Next, they sit down with the macaroni and cheese, honey. And so just from the looks of it, it's like, okay, it looks like it turned out right. It turned out, pretty good. I didn't get to taste of it, but I was like, okay, Nikki, maybe, I have to trust the process, and it came together. Well, Shawn, baby, done got with the camera by himself when Nikki wasn't around, honey. And then he said the macaroni and cheese was okay. He said it wasn't all that, baby. He said, now this me adding, he was like, he don't know what kind of macaroni and cheese she made, but it was all right. It's nothing to brag on. And I'm like, that's so typical of Shawn, but I have to agree because I'm like, how this macaroni and cheese gonna taste with flour all in it and all this unnecessary stuff? Now, maybe that's that bougie macaroni and cheese, honey. It ain't that southern macaroni and cheese, and it makes a difference, baby. It makes a difference. So I guess he told the truth. That's his truth, and and we just have to accept it. Nikki, she said it was good, but she didn't say it was all that. It was the bomb or nothing like that. So I guess her and Shawn was on the same page when it came to that macaroni and cheese, baby. Now, later on, they make it over to the couple's retreat where everybody was staying in a cabin. And because they got there late as usual, they end up getting the bunk bed room, the room that they had to share bunk beds. And so they weren't very happy about that. But, they was good sports and they went ahead and accepted, that you was late. So of course, when you being late, you're not going to get the best room. Well, Shawn had to let everybody know that, he's here today, but he will be gone by tomorrow because his mother or his grandmother is I think they're having a 71st birthday party, and he didn't want to miss it. Now, my thing is, why didn't you take your wife? Because there was no reason for Nikki to stay at the couple's retreat without the couple. And there was no need for Shawn to go to a family reunion or birthday party without his wife. So that didn't make any sense to me, and maybe the people. But, he went, he did call back and FaceTime her. They said that they missed each other. They wished that that they was currently in each other's present. It's like, but y'all could have. All you have to do is book a flight and bring her with you, because she really had no reason to stay. She was just staying, being all up in old folks' business and talking to Devin because Devin was over there crashing out because Caitlin was over there, baby, melting all over Mecca in front of Bill. So it's a little hot little mess, but we're going to talk about Caitlin and Devin in a few minutes. But that's all we really got when it comes to Nikki and Shawn. Talk to you later.